Welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. On today's episode, we got a lot to talk about. In fact, we gotta talk about Instagram and TikTok. Gotta talk about that for all of you, especially for all of you posting your TikToks to Instagram Reels. Got some sad news for you, but I'll tell you what that is coming up. Also, TikTok gets a new dance with the Biden administration, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean. And of course, with Clubhouse being as popular as it is, we've got some Clubhouse clones coming, and I'll tell you which platforms will soon have their own versions on the social media market. And Olympic Champion Simone Biles has a new docu-series that I am looking forward to seeing, and I'll tell you where you can watch it in the months to come. Yeah, months to come. Not too far out, but soon. All of that and more is coming up next on this episode of the Social Media Scene. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Well, hello. How are you? Welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. Let me fade this music right quick. Yes, let's go ahead and fade that out real pretty. Wonderful. Hello again. Welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. I am Alice Fuller, Principal Consultant at Sheer Social. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. I don't know where you are, but it is a gloomy, rainy Friday where I am. But hopefully wherever you are, at least you're safe and at home and watching this show, whether on your phone and or on your computer, or however you do it, your tablet. So this is where I tell you what is popping in the world of social media. That's why we call it the Social Media Scene. What do I do through Sheer Social? Now, Sheer Social, that's my social media marketing, training, and consulting business. But this show is where every week I give you the lowdown, the 411, some tea as we call it, on what is going on in the world of social media. And I try to give it a little entertainment flavor when I can, just to let you know in a minute, it's just all going to be media. It's all going to be media. We're not going to differentiate traditional and digital. It's just all going to be media in just a second. Yes, I've been saying that for years, but we're probably there now. So go ahead, share this stream with friends and frenemies, please. Go ahead and share this stream in those places and spaces conversations of social media are going on if they will allow it. Got to keep that in mind. So that means your Facebook groups, your pages, your profiles, even if you know how to share it off of Facebook, or if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you're watching it on Twitter, go ahead and retweet and share this stream, especially in those places and spaces. Conversations of social media are going on, and especially with those people need help with social media but will never admit it. Pride cometh before the fall. Yes, indeed. Yes. So let me give you the lowdown again of what is going on in today's episode. So today we're going to talk about Instagram. We're going to talk about Instagram and TikTok specifically, because TikTok has an eye on some of y'all. It is not appreciating the love you're giving TikTok on its platform. Not at all. And Instagram is taking steps to make sure that TikTok does not totally invade its platform. But I'll tell you what's popping with that in just a second. Also today, got to talk about Facebook and Twitter and some other platforms and what they plan to do to stay competitive with Clubhouse. Are you on Clubhouse yet? If you're not, man, I got to tell you. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of buzz around Clubhouse app, as some of you know. But the reality of it is, as things go, when something gets really, really popular, everybody wants to clone it. So I'll tell you more about that today, too. Also today, definitely got to talk about, what's my thing we got to talk about today? Oh, TikTok. Now, speaking of TikTok and cloning of other platforms, You remember last year, TikTok was really kind of, we don't know which way we're going to go here in the US because this administration that was led by old dude 45, he wants to kick us out. But with the new administration, TikTok can do a new dance. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. And also today, got to talk about this new series, docu-series with gold medalist Simone Biles. Because we know with everything being what it is in the world right now with the pandemic, we don't know which way things are, going to go totally as far as the Olympics are concerned. But still, as an Olympian, as an athlete, she's got to stay ready. That means not only does she have to stay ready, she's got to train and she's got to prepare mentally and all of that good stuff. So she's got a new docu series. Got a new docu series where we can really just sit and watch and observe her as she prepares for the Olympics. So I'll tell you where you can enjoy that new series, and I'll tell you the name of it and everything in just a second. So that's the rundown for today's show. So before I do anything, let's make sure I am. Let me just do a tech check right quick. Just a tech check right quick to see what is going on in the world because I have to make sure that I can be seen and heard. For those of you that are watching, let me know if you can see me and hear me and everything is copacetic. I do believe it is. Wonderful. Now, let's move on to the first story of this day. Let's go ahead and talk about Instagram and TikTok. Okay. So, as I was saying before, for those of you that are really repurposing your TikToks, and social media people, we talk about doing that pretty often. You take your content, repurpose it for other platforms. Seemingly, there's nothing wrong with that. And I stress the seemingly part. And I stress the seemingly part because every platform, I don't care what it is, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, all of them, they would prefer that you keep your content or create content just for that particular platform. Yeah. But we're busy people. And unfortunately, and fortunately for some, TikTok is becoming so popular. So popular, in fact, I would dare say it might outgrow Instagram. Don't know how soon, but in the meantime, tween time, those of you that are using TikTok and Instagram Reels, you've been repurposing your Instagram. No, you've been repurposing your TikToks for your Instagram Reels. And at first it was cool. Now it's not anymore. At least not by Instagram standards. You know why? There's a couple of reasons why, like I just said. Oh, hey, Curtis. There's a couple of reasons why TikTok and Instagram, they're not going to be friends in the social media space. They're just not. So as you are sharing your TikToks over to Reels, and then the bad part about that is there's no way to take the TikTok branding out of the video. So Reels is like, you know what? We tired of y'all. to put it nicely, we tired of y'all. And so if you're going to use Reels, you are going to use Reels this way. You are going to stop using TikTok on Reels. And if you want to continue doing it that way, if you want to continue using your TikToks with the TikTok logo and everything on Instagram Reels, we're just going to lessen the reach of it because we got an algorithm in place that'll do just that. Yep. So what does that mean? Well, technically it means you're going to have to come up off some more creativity or figure out your workaround. you're going to need a workaround if you're going to create content that you want to repurpose for TikTok and Instagram Reels. You're going to have to figure out a way to either just save it to your phone, the original piece of content without the logo and everything else, and then just upload it both to TikTok and to Reels. Because otherwise, if you continue sharing your TikToks, downloading them to your phone, however you do it, and then sharing them to Instagram Reels with the TikTok logo, Instagram has blatantly said, look, we're just going to lessen the reach of it. We're going to downrank it or not give it as much rank. In other words, it's just a nice way of saying, ain't nobody going to see that. It's just less and less people are going to see that. That's just a nice way of saying we're not banning it flat out yet, but what we are doing is making sure less people see it. So that's a negative for you. That means you got to put in some more work to a degree. But on one end too, as a business, you can kind of understand it. You can kind of understand it. It's just like certain restaurants you go into and you bring in the competition's food and then have the audacity to eat the competition's food right there in another restaurant. And it's just like, really? So you just going to disrespect us like that? Yeah. That's kind of what it's like. So if you put yourself in Instagram shoes for just for a hot second, and you're looking at all of these people bringing in other content from your competition, from your direct competition, you might feel some kind of way about it, if we're honest. So Instagram is rightfully feeling some type of way about it. So now you, as a content creator, you got to figure out what your new workaround is going to be. Okay. So, of course, Instagram has its own little way of its own little PR way of saying this is what we're going to do and why. Saying that people in their surveys, have you ever been in one of these surveys? I haven't, but nonetheless, Instagram says in their surveys, people have said that their reels are less satisfying. They're having a less satisfying experience in reels when the content is recycled from other apps. Because in many instances, the content is blurry. Then there's that. I've seen that. That indeed is true. It's not sometimes the best quality. Okay. All right. So they're going to de-emphasize it. They're not shutting it down. They're not banning it per se. So don't say I said that. That's not what they're saying. They're just not going to give it as much reach as reels were probably were getting before. So reels that are covered with text, got a lot of text in your reels on top of being blurry, or it's a lot of text, it's blurry. If it has a watermark or logo in it, watermark or logo from another platform, especially, even if it has a border around it, because I know some of you want to do the border around your content to make it stand out in the crowd, you're gonna have to figure out a workaround with that too. Instagram is not having any of that anymore. So figure out what your workaround is going to be, and there will be a blog post, a YouTube something in the near future, probably telling you how to do it. But at the end of the day, the crux of it is, if you're going to use Instagram Reels, you're going to have to create and upload original content. That's where Instagram is going. That's its focus. And you just have to abide by that. I don't know what else to tell you. It is what it is. Okay. So that's the Instagram news for today. Share that with some friends, because I know a lot of you are using TikTok or beginning to explore TikTok. And because life is busy. You're just repurposing it to Instagram reels or even to stories in some instances. Instagram is not favoring that at all. So you're going to need a whole new, not a strategy, a whole new tactic to get the same reach on that content. Okay. So let's move on to other news of this here day. I think my graphic is working this time. Let's see. Is it working today? Is it working? Yep. Bam! There it is. All right. So let's move on to the next story of this here day. All right. So speaking of TikTok, now last year, woo, we had so much drama going on in social media last year, TikTok especially. So you remember, if you've been watching the show, or you follow social media news, then you remember that TikTok was teetering on being kicked out of the U.S. It's already been banned in India, and I think a couple of other countries too. So that said, they were doing this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with the Trump administration, and they were getting extensions and another extension. And then it came down to when you thought they were going to be banned here in the U.S., well, the one that got kicked out, not necessarily of the U.S., but of the White House, was 45 himself, and he was leading this whole charge of getting TikTok kicked out or banned in the U.S. Well, we got a new administration now, people. New administration, new set of people, new ways of thinking, new ways of handling things, and TikTok can now do a new dance. I don't know what dance is doing, but it's a happy dance. You know why it's a happy dance? Because the sale of TikTok, and I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, it was to Oracle, Walmart, that combination of two companies. That whole thing has now been shelved indefinitely. So I know TikTok is dancing a happy dance, and I don't blame them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give them some applause. Go ahead and take that TikTok. Go ahead, have a little bit of that, because I know y'all are happy. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, okay. You don't need no extra, so let's just cut that off right there. Now, here's the thing, though. The Biden administration, they've got more important things in their minds to think about than TikTok right about now, especially with the pandemic being what it is. People are out of work, this and that and the other. So TikTok right now is not high on the priority list. Not, no, which is a good thing as far as the platform is concerned. But, and there's always a but, there's always something. There is still a little reason why they can't dance too long or too heavily in joy, because the sale has been put on the shelf. Okay. Now, here's the thing. The U.S. National Security Council spokeswoman, Emily Horn, she says, we plan to develop a comprehensive approach to securing U.S. data that addresses the full range of threats we face. Okay. This includes the risk posed by Chinese apps, and other software that operate in the US. In the coming months, we expect to review specific cases in light of a comprehensive understanding of the risks we face. Basically, that's a nice way to say, look here, TikTok. You cool and everything right now, but we're coming back to this. Okay, we're going to come back and we're going to look at this and see if indeed you can dance into September, although that's an old term that we often use in television. But let's see if you can continually dance here in the US and not be a threat at all. We're going to come back to it. But right now, you good. But here's the thing though. If uh spokeswoman, U.S. National Security Council spokeswoman Emily Horn, It's going to be, as she says, uh, they're looking at the full range of threats we face. This includes the risk posed by Chinese apps, and other software that operate in the US. Here's the thing. She might add Clubhouse to the list. What? But Clubhouse isn't a Chinese app. Well, here's a little tea. Here's a little social media tea. Um, though it may not be owned by a Chinese company, the back end of it, the thing that makes it what it is, that is provided by a Chinese company called Agora. hmm And Agora right now is also doing a nice little dance because of the popularity of Clubhouse. Of course, their stock is going up. Yay, the value of their stock is going up, which is great. But once again, as I said, TikTok, the sale to the Oracle, Walmart, whatever, that's shelled indefinitely. Cool. But that is not to say certain folks here in the U.S. on certain councils and whatnot are still still keeping a careful eye to TikTok. So Curtis, you say that's good information. I try. I do try to give y'all something of value. That's yeah, I do try. I try. So thank you. Yes. So keep in mind as we are looking at so many of these various apps, and we're getting all excited about the various apps, this and that and the other. And on the surface, we're just seeing what they want us to see. On the back end, it could be a whole bunch of other stuff going on that we're not privy to until somebody starts digging and looking. Hey, Navy. She says, I'm super late to the party. Girl, that's okay. That's all right. Uh, you have not missed the refreshments. Matter of fact, I've seen some of your Facebook posts. I need you making refreshments. Because you like to cook. And some of that looks real tasty. Real tasty. But at any rate, so thank you, Curtis. I do try to, give y'all some good information here. The reality of it is, though, when it comes down to information, the information is forever changing. And that in and of itself makes it what I say now could necessarily be different. Could necessarily, yeah, it could be different. So, what else is there? What else is going on? When you start talking about too good information, keep in mind if y'all have been watching the trial, as far as the impeachment trial, I want you to notice too how heavy they have been using social media as a whole and leveraging their whole case for impeachment of 45. Now imagine if they had used, because most of the information that they have been using has been coming from social media, meaning from tweets primarily and some of these other apps. That's not to say TikTok was not one of those platforms too that was used for the recruitment, for the messaging, and everything else that led to the Capitol Hill riot. So, talking about information, be careful. Just watch in the months to come, or even in the weeks to come, in the weeks and months to come, how the various platforms are going to put certain parameters around the information around politics, around vaccinations. Just see how these platforms are going to change, more rules, more regulations, more notifications around information and misinformation. Because right now, Facebook stays in trouble. And some of these other apps, if they're not careful, they could also have their beep in a sling too when it comes down to how information, especially misinformation, is being shared through these platforms, and seemingly the platforms can't keep up in many cases, or they haven't put certain parameters in place so that the information is, even if it's shared, it's not spread, it doesn't become viral as quickly. So keep an eye to that in the weeks to come. Now let's move on to other news, because there is more news to come. Speaking of Clubhouse, because everybody and their mama seemingly wants to be on Clubhouse. But here's the thing, people. Um, when we start talking about bam, yes. So when we start talking about Clubhouse and this fear of missing out that comes with social media, here's the thing that I don't understand. There are people online right now selling Clubhouse invites for $125 a pop. $125 a pop. Saw it yesterday on Twitter. I understand people wanting their coin. I get it. People need their money. They want their money. They earned their money. I get that. But when you get to the place where we are putting so much value on an invitation to a platform that's still, damn it, in beta, what do you think you are missing? Jesus is not on the platform now, maybe in spirit, but not in flesh. What do you think is worth $125 damn dollars on Clubhouse? Please explain it to me. What do you think is on this app that's worth that amount of money if somebody is willing to pay it? Now, here's the thing. Now, if some celebrity was like, look, for 125 bones, you can talk to me for a good 30 minutes. Your favorite celebrity, whoever, says, hey, meet me on Clubhouse, and for 30 minutes, we can kiki. Maybe. I could see maybe that might have $125 worth of a value. Or a consultation with um, a mentor, or somebody you deem a mentor, or some illuminary, somebody uh, who is in the marketing space or whatever industry you may be in, and they are a thought leader. They are one of those individuals that you can't get next to them even if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic. But the insight that they could share could be transformative. Yes, that would be worth $125. But just an invite just to be on the damn app is not worth $125. Just trust me on that. I'm on the app. Indeed, I am. And yes, you can go back to my old videos. And when I said I want to be on the app, but specifically, I want to be on the app so I can tell y'all what it's about. And two, for the clients that I have that might need it or want it or leverage it. But other than that, it's not worth paying money for. Just wait. Be patient. It's going to open to Android probably sooner than we realize. So everybody will have access to it. Okay? So just chill. Okay? Chill. It ain't that deep. Curtis, you say, I have 5 invites. You trying to sell them? That'll get me $625. Now, admittedly, $625 is good money. It's good money. Admittedly, that might pay a bill. That might be, I don't know, a little bit of rent, depending on where you live and how you live. I don't know what you do with that kind of money. You could invest that in some. Who knows what you do with your money? That's your business. But at the end of the day, you could make $625 and even more than that selling what you know, not selling invites on an app that you don't own. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You can make $625, as you already know, doing what you're already doing and not have to pimp Clubhouse invites. Okay. But that if you do, that's your business. I understand it. Like I said, if that's what people want to do, then that's what they're going to do. Okay. Neva, you say, I have 4 invites. I was thinking of selling mine. Okay. Okay. Because then, as we know, for some of you that are watching, you were like, well, hell, how do I get some invites to damn sale? Um, it's real easy to a degree. If you're on Clubhouse, the gist of it is you have to be active on the platform. And what do you mean by active? What I mean by active is if you're knowledgeable of how the thing works just a little bit, you've got to host some rooms or some talks, for lack of a better phrase, because that's what the when you host a talk, it's called a room, or become a moderator in somebody's room. Okay, you join some clubs on Clubhouse. So you have to be active on the platform in order to get more invites, because when you first get on the platform, they're only going to give you one. And if you are the type of person that's like, I got to get more invites because I got to make this coin, I got to make this money. So you start being active. The more active you are, the more invites you get. Thus, they're heretofore. And then you can leverage them however you see fit. My only gripe is it ain't worth 100. Well, you know what? Let me roll back on that, because somebody else's trash is somebody else's treasure. Okay, so it ain't worth it to me. To me. But like I said, if your favorite celebrity or a mentor, or you get a free consultation from somebody you know in the industry, in your particular industry, and that 20 minutes or however long they put it out there to say, hey, for $125 you can talk to me and get your private consultation, a one-on-one, then yes, it would be worth $125. But just to be on there with all these other people doing moan rooms and things, if you don't know what a moan room is, it ain't, just Google it. It ain't even, yeah. Yeah. So I digress. So here's the thing. When it comes down to the popularity of Clubhouse app, as you already know, soon as something gets popular, who is the first one to say, you know what? Oh, hell no. What you're not going to do is, in this social media verse, is be more popular than us. Who does that sound like? I'll let you guess. You already know. Nope. I know some of you, but oh, is it Twitter? It's not necessarily Twitter, but it is Twitter to a degree. And what I mean by that is Twitter announced months ago, right around the same time Clubhouse was really beginning to buzz. Twitter had already announced, we own this audio thing, and we're doing this thing called Spaces. And I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like in just a second. They got the Spaces. Okay. When it comes down to Facebook, though, now you would think Facebook would be in the mind of, you know what? Okay, we see you, Clubhouse. We see you. Okay, but right now we worried with this TikTok, because if we're not careful, there's going to be an invasion of TikTok on the Instagram Reels. Okay, and we can't let that happen. But we got an eye on you. But you know how Zuck goes. Soon as Zuck and his friends see that something is getting popular, they copy it. So yes, Facebook has decided we gonna have our own Clubhouse. That's what we gonna do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are going to have our own version of Clubhouse. Of course. Now, Curtis, you say moan room sounds provocative. Oh, and provocative it is. As I adjust my glasses. Yes, yeah. And once again, that comes down to how people figure out a way to turn something into a hustle. And a moan room started out primarily as a hustle to a degree. But nonetheless, it's something that might actually be on OnlyFans. Let me put it that way. For those of you that are like, what is a moan room? Does it hurt? Maybe to those participating. but but nonetheless, we start talking about Facebook announcing we're going to have a Clubhouse version. We don't have a name for it. I have yet to see what it's going to be called. But because this audio thing is becoming a thing in social media, and especially for those of you, and I get it, a lot of people just are not, video seems like so much work. And it is, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. In many cases, it can be. And especially when you try to, up your game. So audio seems like a good place to start, especially for those people that are just beginning to dip their toe in the social media world and they want to create content. They don't have, a lot of extra, don't have budgets, don't have this, whatever. Audio seems like a good place to start, and it is. So Clubhouse just came in at the right time. The right time. So timing is crucial too. Uh Neva, you said I'm still trying to figure out how to use my Facebook name on Clubhouse. I hate that I have to use my government name. All my social media is under Neva. Ugh, yeah. Got to give that some thought. Still trying to figure out how to use my Facebook name on Clubhouse. I got to give that some thought. I gotta ponder that a second. So, but at any rate, so Facebook is coming with its own version of Clubhouse. Then Twitter, I told you, already announced months ago that it was already in the beta of their platform, their audio only platform called Spaces. And it's funny because as you announce something called Spaces, you start getting into that Spaces. So I have a MySpace. Yeah, well, you do have a MySpace, but yeah. At any rate, Curtis, you say, do you know if Zuckerberg was actually on Clubhouse? You've seen a Clubhouse post stating yes. I do believe he was on Clubhouse. Of course, he's going to be on Clubhouse. He wants to see what all the hoopla is about. And you had Elon Musk. That was a big to do when he was on Clubhouse too. So at the end of the day, I'd say in the next, I'm saying in the next month or so, I think everybody may have access to Spaces. Now, Spaces, let me say, I could use my Facebook name, but if you could use your Facebook name with Clubhouse, you'll be in the money. Okay, cool. So Spaces over here on Twitter. Let me show you this on the Twitter. On the Twitter, when you start thinking about how you're going to use these audio only apps. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to go to Clubhouse first because that's what the buzz is about. Some of you may want to play around with Spaces, especially if you're on Twitter. If you're on Twitter already, that's one. If you're not on Twitter, you don't use Twitter that much at all, then that might be something extra that you'll probably won't use. But if you're already active on Twitter, or maybe if you want to become active on Twitter, this might be a good reason to begin exploring Twitter again. And let me show you this. Okay, so we're over here on the Twitter profile for Spaces. And it looks, in all honesty, a lot like Clubhouse. It does. There are some similarities, of course, with look, but there are also some distinctions. Now, as you see here in this photo, what happens is when somebody is using Spaces, you'll see it in the fleets something of which I hardly even look at because I'm just so done that Twitter is beginning to look like every damn thing else. That's why I like Twitter to begin with, because it didn't look like everything else, didn't feel like everything else. But nonetheless, when your investors are at your heels telling you better come up with something quick, fast, and in a hurry, this is what you do. You give us fleets. So as you are on your Twitter app on the phone, not desktop, on the phone, you will know that somebody you're following is doing um, or having a conversation in spaces, because you will see a little uh, circle. And then when you see that little circle, as you see here in this example, you see that little circle, and then you see that smaller little circle, that lets you know they're participating in a fleet. I mean, and not only in a fleet, because you have to find it in fleet, but they're also they're doing a they're doing a Twitter spaces conversations. I guess that's the best way to say it. So as you can see, this is Savannah's space. So when you click on your follower who is basically notifying you, hey, I'm over here having this conversation on spaces, you'll see that in fleets, and then you click on it, and then this will pop up, which looks a hell of a lot like what? Clubhouse. Indeed it does. So then you go to click join this space. Now, the unlike Clubhouse, and I think Clubhouse has fixed this because they've had an update. It used to be, soon as you went into quote unquote a room on Clubhouse, you came in hot. In other words, your audio was already up, so you had to turn off your mic. Don't think that's the case here with Spaces. Now, here's the other thing too with Spaces. Spaces will be testing, or is testing, not just an iPhone but also an Android. Okay, so here's a little uh, demo of that. So you see here, you have somebody doing up there in the fleets. They got the notification that their person they follow is having this conversation. So they're testing it in an Android as well as on an iPhone. So as you can see, they look pretty similar. Let's see what the people have to say. Let's see. It says, I know it sounds pretentious, even presumptuous, but I sure would love to join. Is it like Clubhouse? Yes. Yes, it is kind of like Clubhouse. Right now, they've got just a few testers in hand. I'm not one of them, unfortunately. Let's see. But when I'm reading here throughout the Twitterverse, not just on this profile here, people seem to be excited about it. But they were excited about Clubhouse too. But I think the fact of the matter that it's being tested not just on iPhone but also on Android. If Clubhouse was smart, in my limited opinion, they would go ahead and release Clubhouse to Android before Spaces goes public with everybody, because the competition is real hot right now. And even though I don't know how many people are on Spaces, Clubhouse right now I think is up to maybe 6 million users. 6 million. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So you got to keep in mind who's gonna hit the market first to everybody, not just iPhone, not just Android, but to everybody. Because right now, the way things are popping, Clubhouse is way ahead of Spaces. You don't even really hear that much buzz about Spaces. And the buzz that you do hear is primarily on where? Twitter. Okay, which is fine, I guess, because they're still testing things. But at some point, Twitter, you might want to go ahead and hurry this process up that you're doing, this testing that you're doing, because all this buzz will keep Clubhouse. You'll have to be chasing behind Clubhouse in order for people to even be willing to consider. I think at the end of the day, though, what will happen is when Clubhouse becomes open to everybody, some people are going to be turned off right from the start. And in all honesty, there are some people right now who came on Clubhouse, they used it for a week or two, or maybe even a month, and now they're over it because they didn't like the experience they had, didn't like, the various things that were going on the app, like the moan rooms and things of that nature. But, a lot has changed. And Clubhouse has been making, advancements, new tools, new things in place so that you can have a better experience on the app as a whole. So some of those people will eventually, I think, eventually might come back. That being the case,
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly.
okay, we're not trying to show the ad because Grammarly ain't paying me no money. But I want to show you this demo of uh, the Clubhouse app. So let me show you, not the Clubhouse app, but the Spaces, so you can see it for yourself on your phone. Now, my question is, if Twitter were to open this up to desktop, how different would it be? Maybe not that much different at all, but as you can see here, same thing. You click on the fleet up top that'll indicate somebody is having a conversation, and uh, you'll come into quote unquote their space, not their room. Room is on Clubhouse. Spaces is on Spaces. And you'll see here in Clubhouse, they're called moderators. The people that are quote unquote on the panel. Here, they're called speakers. Cool. Then on Clubhouse, everybody who's not on quote unquote the stage, they're a little further. Literally, they're below. There's a big distinction. There's a line where everybody's in the audience, but they're not called a listener. So as you see here, you got a lot of people that are called listeners. And then you've got the person who's the host, and then you've got the person who's the speaker. So I like right from the start having that visual distinction right out the gate. I like that. And then two, with this particular spaces that they've got right now, because it's still in beta, so things are subject to change. You can do emoticons. You can also do, let me see if I can find it. You can also get a transcription of the conversation that's going on. I think that's pretty cool too. I haven't seen that done quite yet in any demos, but there is a way. Let's see if I can find it. Come on, it's moving real slow. If I can find, where is it? There. As you can see here, you can invite people by DM. You can share your room via a tweet. You can copy a link, which is good. Now, if you click on that little heart that you saw at the bottom there, that opens up, man, John Brown, that opens up emoticons. And then there's also a thing there that will allow you to do, like I said, get transcriptions of the conversation. To my knowledge, right now, Clubhouse is not doing transcriptions, and they're not offering. You're not supposed to record the conversations that are going on. However, if you, as a room host on Clubhouse, if you want to record your room, you can. but you have to let everybody know from the jump this room is being recorded. So make it real plain that the room is being recorded, and you go ahead and record as you want to. I know what Clubhouse too, they've got a special uh, thing that they do. If you want to plug in a microphone and do like a performance, you want to sing, you want to do a spoken word, whatever you do, they have a special type of format. I don't exactly know how it changes, but there's a quality difference when you plug that. If you have a mic like your Yeti or whatever it is, and you plug it into your phone, the app will recognize it, and it makes the quality a lot better. Don't know if Twitter Spaces is at that level of the game yet, but maybe so. Maybe it will get there. So be on the lookout for Twitter Spaces. I would dare say, I'd say in the months to come, because everybody is rushing to market somehow or the other, and because too, the Clubhouse is now global. They've got some of everybody all over the world is coming to Clubhouse now. I opened up the app not too long ago and I saw some languages. I'm like, I don't speak this. I don't even know what this is. It looks like I'm reading some instructions in another language. So once again, Twitter, what you doing? Better come on with it. Come on with it. Okay, so let's move on to my last story of this here day. Let's wrap this up. So my last story of the day is about Simone Biles. Now, when we start talking about Olympian, athlete, I mean, this young lady is a powerhouse to say the least. To say the least. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's go ahead and get into, not only is she a powerhouse, but she's got a new docu-series. This docu-series will basically take us behind the scenes, and we love behind the scenes, don't we? We love it when our favorite celebrities or whoever we're following and whatnot, when they allow us a little bit of insight into their life. And this is what this is going to be. So it's called Simone versus Herself. Simone versus Herself. And it's going to premiere on Facebook Watch. Facebook Watch, not YouTube. Careful, like I said, this is not YouTube, because that's where I thought it would be, but no, not YouTube. This is not a Snapchat or anything. Nope. This is on Facebook Watch, a Facebook Watch original series, in fact, so don't even look for it anywhere else. So it's slated to premiere in the summer, timed for the Tokyo Olympics. Right now, the Tokyo Olympics are scheduled for July 23rd through August 8th. But we'll see. So, did you know she had 19 world champion gymnastic titles? 19. Goodness. So, what you will see in this docu-series, of course, is her training, her preparing, everything that she's doing to prepare for the upcoming Olympics this summer. So she says she wants to share with fans the process and the approach I am taking along the way, in the hope that it may help inspire others to be the best versions of themselves too. That sounds great. It sounds like a publicist wrote it, but it's probably sincere. I dare say it is sincere. But also too, Facebook Watch. We know right now Facebook Watch wants to become your new Netflix, your new YouTube, your new everything. And at the end of the day, it just might. Especially if they continue attracting this type of content. So let me give you a little taste of what you can see this summer. Now, my question is, now what happens if the Olympics for whatever reason, they decide not to do the Olympics this summer. Well, I suspect they will still show you. Uh, they'll probably Facebook at this point will probably still premiere this. So let's go ahead and cue this up. Hold on a second. Let's turn on the sound on this puppy, and let's share my browser here. And bam, there you have it.
The Olympics are officially postponed. Gymnast bodies are like ticking time bombs. It's like a nightmare. How to prepare for another year. Having to come back. Am I going to be just as good? Can I do it again? The Olympics are officially postponed. Gymnast bodies are like ticking time bombs. It's like a nightmare. How to prepare for another year. Having to come back. Am I going to be just as good? Can I do it again?
Okay, so that is Simone versus herself. It is on the Versus on Watch. Now, do not get that confused with Versus spelled with the Z's that that Instagram has. Nope, this is Versus the way we usually spell it with S's. Versus on Watch on Facebook. So that's where you need to go to find Simone versus herself. So I'm eager to see that. I really am. But imagine being a legend that young. I mean, where do you go next with that? You're already a legend. Well, I mean, a legend. And I don't even think she's 30 yet. Well, she's maybe mid-20s at best. And you're already a legend. Where do you go next after being a legend in your 20s? But at any rate, that's a whole nother show. So that's a wrap, people. That's it for today. And once again, I do not have my damn clapboard. But you know what? I have this one. I have a virtual clapboard, and I will use that. That's what I will use for today. That's what we'll use. So it's a wrap. There it is. It's a wrap for today. Thank y'all for coming through. Oh, I forgot. It's a special weekend this weekend. For those of you that have a boo, a significant and or insignificant other, it is a Valentine's Day weekend. I forgot all about that. It ain't like, yeah, I was gonna do anything special. Maybe buy myself a Snickers. Never, you say very good show. Thank you very much. Thank you, Curtis. Very good show. Thank you. So it is Valentine's Day weekend, people. So if you've got a significant other, as I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, you might want to show them some love, a little bit, a little something. Whatever you do, I haven't a clue, but whether it's going to be flowers, I guess you could still figure out a way to go out to eat or figure out how to do something right there at home. That's nice too. So whatever you do, share some love this weekend. If you are as single as a dollar bill, Valentine's weekend may be a little difficult for you. You might find yourself hating on everybody that's booed up. Well, you don't have to feel bad. I mean, you technically love on yourself. And I'm going to stop it right there before I say something I probably really should not, because this is a family show. Okay? But at the end of the day, find somebody to love, even if it's just yourself. Like I said, go out and buy yourself a meal, or buy yourself some candy, or do something special for yourself. That's all. All right. So what is this? You talking about? Or loose change? Curtis, are you saying you would literally reach in your pocket and give somebody loose change on Valentine's Day? Is that what you're saying? Okay. You know what? Yeah, okay. You gonna be single men. Okay. Yeah. Loose change. Just to have it thrown right back in your face. Okay. But I do have some suggestions. If you are on Netflix, although this is not an ideal Valentine's Day movie, but Malcolm and Marie is worthy of looking at. However, Malcolm and Marie should be looked at with something else. You need some positivity after that. So maybe watch on Amazon Prime Sylvie's Love. Yep, yep. Those two movies will get you right as far as relationships are concerned. And I was trying to think of something else that some of y'all might want to watch that I've seen, which was pretty romantic. Oh, The Photograph that came out years ago. That's Issa Rae's movie, kind of her hat tip to Love Jones. Maybe watch Love Jones over again. I don't know. I know you're thinking, how come all your movies are black movies? Well, look at me. um, I don't have any other movies to suggest to watch. I mean, there are plenty of them you can watch, but those are the first kind of three that come to mind. If you want a romantic comedy, I don't know What Men Like or What Men Think, whatever, that Taraji P. Henson movie. I mean, there are movies to watch to get you in the lovey-dovey mood, and there's music and playlists and things of that nature. So do what you do, people. Have a great weekend. No, you said single as a dollar bill. Yeah, single as a dollar bill. Yeah, I got you. Ha ha. I got you. Never. You said he's single as loose change. Jamie Travis. Okay. So have a good weekend, people. See you next week. Whatever you do, be safe. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.